was kind of discouraged at first. I was like, I am never, ever going to be able to get all this down. But now it's like I have a little catalog in my head that if someone says a gimlet, it's like bam, 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 bam.
This video is brought to you by Tony's Pizza and Restaurant. My wife and I eat there often. And if you're looking for some real, authentic Italian food, Tony's is where you need to be. They're located on 108 Boston Road, Springfield, Massachusetts. And their phone number is 413-732-6600. It's a great place to grab some lunch and dinner, or a great place to grab a beer after work. Thinking about that special gathering? Tony's got you covered. They have a banquet room that sits up to 70 people and a dining room that sits up to 100. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking about hosting that party at your house, Tony's got you covered. They cater as well. All around, Tony's is managed by a great family, and they care deeply about your experience. Tony's Pizza and Restaurant is highly recommended. Make sure to let them know that MYPREPPLUS sent you.
Taking classes or learn on the fly, how did you get to where you are?
Raw dogged it. Learned completely on the fly. It was because when I came in, I applied for like a serving position at the restaurant I'm at now. And the manager just said, "Man, you talk a lot. Do you wanna bartend?" I was like, I've never bartended before. I have no experience. He's like, perfect. So trained me from the ground up. Their head bartender there at the time was Mike Ritters, and he taught me everything I know. And he's been bartending in the area for at least 25 years. So stickler for details, but I love that because I was trying to learn the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took some time to not have to Google every single order that came in.
Yeah.
But and I was kind of discouraged at first. I was like, I am never ever going to be able to get all this down. But now it's like I have a little catalog in my head that if someone says a gimlet, it's like bam, 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 bam. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how I'm going to mix it, how I'm going to stir it. Like, it's interesting.
Now, do you like I have no idea about the bartending industry. Now, is there like competition amongst bartenders, within your restaurant versus other restaurants or bars?
I would say no. I mean, there are like actual bartending competitions that are hosted in Greenville sometimes. Like nothing like super huge, but like for specific events. It's a huge foodie town too, so lots of festivals come in, and part of that is like bartending. I haven't participated in any of them, but I have friends that do. When it comes to like competition between restaurants, I'm gonna say there isn't, because like other than food and stuff, like you're trying to be the best in a foodie town. But like I know so many bartenders in Greenville, and there's like an unspoken like code of camaraderie. It's like I come in and it's like, Jordan, nice to see you, man. Like if they come in and see me, like I'll get them a beer on me, and they'll do the same for me. And I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I get along with people anyways, but the bartenders or any food service in particular, we're all suffering in the same same storm. So it's nice to find shelter with each other after a long shift. Yeah. It knits us together closer.
What a different perspective. I never really thought about that.
Mm.
So, wow. Now, some of the drinks that you've learned so you basically you walked in for a server position. Hiring manager Mike said, "Hey, you talk a lot. You're going to be behind the bar scene." I've never done this before, but you've learned everything up to this point,
right?
To the point where you have a catalog in your head, as you mentioned. Have there been any drinks that have been asked of you that you've been like, "I've never heard of that before"? I mean,
like. At the beginning, every single one basically, other than like a Jack and Coke. But now it's like one that comes to mind was like a Sazerac. I didn't know how to make a Sazerac, but it has absinthe in it. But we don't have absinthe, so I still don't know all the components. But I know it's my Uncle Tony's favorite drink, by the way. Sazerac, a Vesper the other day, which was really simple. It sounds disgusting, but it didn't taste bad. It's half vodka, half gin. Like basically a martini, and it's not my cup of tea or my glass of alcohol, but it is those are the two that pop up most recently that I've had to be like, oh, I think I've made a Vesper before, but I have no clue how to do it. So
no, if you're for instance, if I came in, I asked you for some off the wall drink, right? Mm-hmm. Are you honest with the customer? Say, hey, I need to figure out what this is, or I mean, you're learning right there on the fly, pretty much.
I mean, I'm always open and honest because if I'm gonna try and pretend like I know how to do it, and then I turn around and I look at my chest for 30 seconds, they're gonna know.
Yeah.
So basically, if they like I like to be honest. So as soon as they ask, I'm like, I've actually never made one of those before. Do you know what's in it? And most of the time, based on that, I know what kind of portions I'm gonna put in that. But a lot of times they're like, I don't know. I know it has jam. And so I'm like, all right, well, let me look it up for you real quick and see if I can make it for you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so that's how you're learning. Then you just put it back in the memory bank.
I'd say after the third time of like looking it up and making it, it's like odds are I'm going to remember how to make it the next time, unless it's like 3 months later when it pops up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
impressive, man.
Yeah, man, I love it. I feel like I'm developing a skill that I can use for forever.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start working on other skills that I can develop and use that on the sideline. That's the goal.
Okay. Now we're moving into sort of the future of your goal sets. What do you have in mind?
Honestly, it's something I think about a lot, but I haven't solidified anything. Like I don't have I have a very basic 5-year, I know how it's kind of going to go, but not like a 5-year goal, which I'm working on currently. For the next, few years, I definitely know I'm going to still be working behind the bar primarily. I want to start monetizing my money during that to where I'm not just throwing it into savings, have my money work for me. And I've got some assets in the stock market, but it's not my cup of tea to sit there and watch it all day every day. So I think in the long run, honestly, I want to do voice acting, man. Just long term at the end of the road, be a voice on Family Guy or something, some animated comedy or whatever. Even in the short term, even just read books for Audible, get my voice out there. Because I've been using the same voice the whole time, but there's definitely quite a few that are under wraps over here. Yeah.
No, I think that's possible, right? You could basically reach out to Audible and say, hey, I want to read for you.
Right.
Right. I don't know how that works.
It's I haven't looked in depth into the application process, but yeah, basically you sign up and you send them a mic check basically to where they make sure that you have crisp, clear audio. You're enunciating your words.
Yeah.
So that's it's easy to get into, and then you basically can just kind of scroll through and look for available books to read for. Which I think would be fun. First of all, I do enjoy to read. I don't do it as often as I used to, but this would be an excuse to get back into reading and make some money on the side. Thought about doing just the random websites where you can pay $5 to hire somebody for a task just to get some experience. If there's somebody that needs someone to read for a commercial or read for some YouTube video that they're making.
Yeah.
Pay me $10 and I'll send in my reading.
Wow.
So I have the very beginning stage groundwork laid, but I haven't acted on it yet. But that's the overall plan for the financial future, I guess, or career future.
Yeah.
And then because I have a lot of my mornings off, so I bartend almost all the night shifts. So I want to do that in the morning hours.
Yeah.
Kind of make better use of my whole day instead of bebopping around the house and playing with the dogs.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic. It's interesting. I never spoke to someone who had those aspirations, which is really neat. I've been following this gal on TikTok, and she's a voice actor, and she's going through, which I think is neat, right? I sit there and listen to her stuff, and it's she changes her voice for different settings, commercials, reading a book, whatever. Right. So it's interesting. Well, I also, okay, so you would still continue your bartending career in conjunction with potentially getting into reading for commercials, reading for Audible.
Right.
Right. And kind of build both of those in parallel with each other. Now, working every single night, I mean, how long you see this going?
Not maybe 2 years. maybe 2 more years for every single night.
Yeah.
I do have 2 days off every week, so it's like spread out. But that's the good thing about food is like you can make good money in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing. So I can afford to give up shifts here and there if I don't want to overextend myself.
Yeah.
And the bartending shifts are very desirable to anyone in that restaurant. So basically, I was just like, I'll shoot a text or give a phone call to somebody, be like, hey, next week I'm not gonna be working this night. You want it, or Chris is gonna get it. You know, like.
So you guys are tight.
Yeah. They back me up. Like when they go on vacation, I'm like, yeah, I got you. But
That's
I mean,
cool.
you got me on the next one.
That's really cool.
But yeah, I don't think I could do it. I could do it for a much longer time. I don't want to do it for more than like 2 years full time. I want to be able to like transition it to like, 70, like bartending 75, 25 voice acting, and then eventually get it to a 50-50 and just find out what's working better.
Yeah.
Or wait for maybe just a change of plans,
Yeah.
But I want to get it to a 50-50 where I can go either way or fall back on bartending or whatever. I know that's always going to be a fallback, so it kind of comforts me so I don't have to be so afraid to take risks. Because I can always, if I did leave my restaurant, been there for 4.5 years, if I did leave, I couldn't go back and work there, but I know so many people in Greenville community that I could walk into probably 15 different restaurants right now and be like, hey, I'll serve for a little bit, but I'm ready to bartend. Or are you looking for a bartending position? And I probably wouldn't even, I would fill out the application, wouldn't even have to go through interviews at a lot of places.
Wow.
Which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah. You've built a name for yourself.
I have.
That's awesome.
One of which is pre-Malone, unfortunately.
Pre-Malone?
Yeah. I get that one all the time, man.
Not post.
Dude, yeah, no. I walk into a random bar that I've never been to, don't know anyone in there, and just some random girl 9 times out of 10 is going to be like, Posty!
Pre-post.
Yeah, I'm pre-Malone, okay?
Pre-Malone.
Before the face tats. I'm not planning on those.
Oh, my goodness. With bartending in Greenville, obviously, there's a lot to offer here. Clearly, just I think it's Main Street, right? Is it Main Street, the Main Street?
Yeah, there's Main Street, which
Yeah.
is going to be like that whole thing. It's like all of downtown, and then you could get into the West End, which is where my restaurant's located. 15 years ago, you didn't go into the West End.
Really?
Yeah, like boarded up windows and everything. But the mayor that came in, might have been 20 years ago, but the mayor that came in had like a game plan, like centered around the river that runs through Greenville.
Yeah.
And like 20 years ago, if you look at pictures compared to now, it's a completely different place. And everyone respects the hell out of that guy because he made Greenville what it was. So you got the whole West End now. You got the main downtown. This is all off of Main Street, and like 2 or 3 streets off the side, you're gonna have like different places to go eat, have a drink. Art galleries are a big thing around here too.
There any music? Any type of music?
That's one thing that I think there is,
Yeah.
and there's definitely been a lot more emphasis put on it in the last like 5 years. Well, especially since that's what I'm most familiar with. Like I came to eat lunch or dinner when I was a kid, but now I'm a part of it all the time.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot more emphasis on creating more opportunities for live music in Greenville. That's like more like jam bands or there's some like EDM shows that pop up here and there. There are different venues, but it's also still lacking.
Yeah.
We've always had the Peace Center, which is, it's like a fine arts performance hall. So that's places where you're gonna get like tribute bands, like solo performers, orchestras, different plays or musicals.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, if you could almost get an element of the New Orleans vibe up here, like a small element, not New Orleans it's New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but if you could take some of the jazz or maybe some of the Nashville, just a piece of it,
Right.
that would probably put the cherry on top.
I agree. That, and then like maybe a little bit of public transportation.
Yeah.
We have a bus system, but it's not great. That's the one thing. My 2 things with Greenville. When anyone's like sitting at the bar and they're asking, that's what I say. I'm like, okay, not enough live music, and you're going to have to drive.
Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, share.